Decision-oriented evaluation approaches will be explored by Anne, Carrie, Sherry, and Lisa. Decision-oriented evaluation approaches were initially designed to address the concerns of the evaluations in the 1970s, which included results being ignored and having minimal impact. This approach showed promise for reducing the misallocation of program resources, the collection of redundant information, and the uninformed responses to unexpected program changes. The rationale of this approach is that evaluative information is an essential part of good decision making and that the evaluator can be most effective by working closely with the program administrator to identify the decisions that must be made and collect data about the benefits and costs. Thus, teamwork and collaboration are important aspects of this approach. The theorist Daniel Stufflebeam was influential in shifting educational evaluations to focus on use. He developed the CIPP model, context, input, product, and process, which is used in many educational evaluations as a tool to help programs work more effectively for the people it serves. The CIPP model supports administrators who are facing four kinds of decisions. Firstly, when making planning decisions about context, the evaluator provides guidance around the goals and intended outcomes, interventions, and assets. Secondly, input evaluation is used to make structuring decisions such as choosing a strategy and resolving problems. Thirdly, in order to make implementing decisions, the evaluator provides guidance around the process. This would be support around implementing the plan and monitoring procedures. Finally, product evaluation serves to guide continuous monitoring, modifying, adapting, and future thinking about the program.
Another decision-oriented approach is the UCLA evaluation model developed by theorist Elkin. It uses four assumptions: gather information for the evaluation, make decision about alternative courses of action, deliver information to support decision making, and use different evaluation procedures to make different decisions. Systems assessment is similar to context evaluation in CIPP. Program planning is similar to input evaluation. Program improvement just like process evaluation, and program certification is like product evaluation. UCLA model has a fifth type, program implementation, to review whether a program was introduced to the group in the manner intended. Another theorist, Patton, developed the UFE, a people-oriented approach focuses on working with stakeholders. It is defined as a process of making decisions and focusing on intended use by intended users. The two core elements are informed decision-making and the personal factor, the presence of an individual or group who cares about the evaluation and its results. One issue to address is the Achilles heel. It is defined as staffing changes or turnover of the original set of intended users. To prevent an Achilles heel, more than one intended user should be in the evaluation. Another solution is to build in enough training time to brief replacements to familiarize the evaluation.
The second theorist we will investigate is Dr. Joseph Holy, whose ideas on evaluation started in the 1970s. Holy has two major efforts: the evaluability assessment method he established when he worked for the U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, as well as performance monitoring, which he focused on when EA declined after he left federal politics. Evaluability assessment, or EA, is a theory used to figure out if something is ready to be effectively evaluated so that money isn't wasted. A program's makeup, management, measures, and data sources, and objectives as to whether they are achievable, measurable, and agreeable are looked at. The goal is to find changes which could improve performance and see if a program is ready to have a full-on evaluation. Performance monitoring is a formative evaluation method which looks at the outputs or outcomes. It is an ongoing process which goes well with evaluation. It is done by creating incentives involving managers and staff, removing disincentives, which are constraints to evaluation, and linking the individual to organization performance. Performance monitoring can be used as a tool for learning. The limitations of Holy's efforts are that the research for EA is older and has been advanced upon versus continued. In both efforts, employee and management buy-ins is needed, or failure is inevitable as the data will not be meaningful or applied. The strength is that his ideas have spawned further methods using the ideals of making it an ongoing process which can lead to better decision-making, program management, and financial savings.
Decision-oriented evaluation approaches give focus to the evaluation. They prevent the evaluator from pursuing things that are not of interest to decision makers. They also stress the importance of utility of information by focusing the purpose on making a decision. Another strength of this approach is that evaluation can start when ideas for programs are first being discussed. This makes it helpful at identifying problems before they have grown and in suggesting solutions that will be more helpful towards achieving outcomes. It also encourages managers and evaluators to approach the process of evaluation as cyclical rather than project-based.
Possible limitations of this approach include the neglect of stakeholders with less power. The evaluator may be unable to respond to significant critical questions because they're not aligned with the questions of the decision maker. The approach is also based on the assumption that information needed to make decisions can be clearly identified in advance. Here's a quick example of using this approach in a school. I'd like to know, how should the daily timetable be changed to better meet the needs of students? In completing a stakeholder analysis, I want to identify stakeholders who have both interest and influence. We're going to design the study and collect the data for it together. To summarize, this approach was developed to increase the use of evaluation and allow for more continuous evaluation. The evaluator works with managers and stakeholders to determine the decision maker's concerns, needs, and criteria for effectiveness. It can also use the personal factor, whereby the evaluator gets to know the intended user.